Hello. Okay, welcome in. We're just gonna do a quick audio and mic check. Let me know if you can hear me, because this is my first time doing this. So, how are we doing, everyone? Hello. We all good? Level's great. here drinking our nondescript. Perfect. Okay. Well then, hello, and a massive welcome in to everyone tuning in for the very first episode of Smoke Talk. I'm Sage, your host, and I am so excited and super elated to have you all with us this. Here on Smoke Talk, we are exploring the fiery passions that drive us and the impactful messages and across the globe. And tonight's lineup is truly spectacular. First up, we are thrilled to welcome Wawieli, a remarkable Indigenous beadworker and artist. We'll be talking with them. And then after we finish that interview, we'll be moving on to, we'll shift gears and chat with Peter Franqui, the reigning world champion of the Digimon card game. From underdog to top dog, his journey is just nothing. So we can't wait to hear about all of his rises and his falls, his ascent to the pinnacle of the game. It's going to be exciting. So stay tuned, because right after a quick intro commercial, we are going to be diving into these incredible stories. So without further ado, let's see if this commercial works.
That's the nature of the bubble. There's always a bigger fish.
Bad things happen around me.
Neither of you are dying.
The last thing I say to Lux is, this is, I'm here to do something good.
Somebody recognized me.
Who the fuck are you?
My name's Lance a Little, and you're dead.
One job. One.
Have you ever wanted to see the corpse of a dead god?
Don't sell your soul to that cat.
Do you think they're trying to kill me?
Obviously, I'm fine.
Come and catch the magic.
I figured it out. Now we're gonna see if we can make this work the way I want it. So, Wawieli, go ahead and say hello.
Hello?
Okay, now we are
Very,
working.
very crackly.
Now we're working. How's that for
Okay,
everybody
cool.
else? We're good? Huzzah! Excellent.
go.
Let's go. Okay, I am super, super excited. Okay. Oh. All right, we are all
Cool.
set up.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. Okay, so let's start with a little bit of an introduction. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes. So, Osio Nagana. Hola todos. Hello everyone. I am Wawieli, but y'all can call me Nene, and I am a digital artist, a streamer, and a Harrigan Paladin. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. I'm so excited to have you. Okay, so I have a couple of questions. So
Okay.
just a few. So you are a bead worker and you're an artist. How did you get started in these? Like, how did your journey start off?
Okay. So I first started in art. I first started out as a traditional artist, paper and pencil years. It wasn't until April of 2021 where I started digital art, and I've been doing digital art for a few years. And then it wasn't until just last year that I started doing bead work. So I'm still a baby beader, but but the journey, but I'm still on this journey. I don't know if I'm completely done yet, but that's kind of my art journey so far.
That is so exciting. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at some of your work here. I saw this one particularly. I saw this on your Twitter X. This particular project
Mhm.
was, I mean, it was amazing. This was the one that really like had me mouth open, just dropped, just incredible. I mean, can you tell us a little more about this particular project?
Oh yes, thank you. Oh.
So what started this? What tell us the story?
Okay. So for context, this is my mother's my mother's graduation cap that I beaded. It took me a month and a week, but basically what started this journey was actually my mom commissioning other people to kind of help build her regalia because she wants to wear traditional Cherokee um uh, garb to her graduation, and some people were not communicating with her properly, and she was just constantly stressed about, okay, I don't know if they're not saying anything, I'm worried about my regalia, there's no communication. And at that time my mom was thinking of, oh, I should commission someone to to be my cabin to go mail it. And I was worried that if that happened and if she wasn't going to get the communication, she may not have gotten her cap back in time. So I was like, here, yes, I'm a new beater, let me do it, just let me do it. So that's kind of what started it.
But those stitches are tight though. I'm looking at it. It's very well done, especially for being a beginning beater. Like it's amazing. I mean, so
Thank you so much.
what was your mom's reaction when you showed her the finished product?
So my mom was watching this whole process. I mean, she let me know which pattern she wanted. She let me know what colors, what form, what format she wanted, including the banding, which is the extra shiny surrounding the beadwork. She absolutely loves it. She absolutely loves it, and that I did very good as a first time beginner in doing my very first beaded cap.
That is so impressive. Do the colors have any sort of meaning?
Let's see. So some of these colors are some of our traditional Cherokee colors, which there is a lot of black, there is a lot of red. Normally there is dark blue, but a lot of these other colors like the green, the white, and the light blue, that was more wanting to match her belt that she commissioned for her regalia. And then the gold at the end, something shiny, something an extra color to make everything else pop.
That is this something that you think you'll be commissioning out for other people? If anybody here is graduating or knows somebody that would want something like this?
To be honest, I would feel a little bit more comfortable probably beating hats first before I really do another graduation cap kind of commission, because I struggled a lot with this one. And it's not like 100% perfect, but of course no beadwork is perfect. But especially for something as important as graduation, I'm a little bit more stricter on myself, so I would want more practice before I do another cap commission.
Of course, I totally understand that. Still, it is so incredibly impressive. I mean, when you started doing beadwork, was there any sort of vision that you had, something you wanted to sort of tackle did you have that piece in your mind that's like your goal?
So for me, I wanted to, I guess there wasn't really a goal in mind, but I definitely wanted to make beadwork that I really don't see much of. Except now looking through the internet and seeing other beaders, they're actually beading what I was visioning. It's like, like mushroom earrings. It's like, oh, I want to bead some mushroom earrings. I haven't really seen mushroom earrings. Of course, there's other beaders that have done mushroom earrings already.
Speaking of, here's yours, and they are so cute. They are adorable.
Thank you.
Look at these. I mean, these are just absolute. I know like quite a few people in particular that I think would absolutely lose their minds over how cool these are, because we have them up on the screen now. It's just like the colors, they match your entire brand. Like, it's so cool how you've just kind of, I don't know. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's really, really awesome. With these mushroom earrings, how long did they take you to do?
Let's see. So these mushroom earrings, it definitely, I want to say a week, maybe less than a week. And like as soon as I got into the groove of things, it really didn't take me too long. Really, the one thing that took me the longest was probably the edging, because that was my very first time doing edging. And you can kind of see, there's definitely like different sizes of beads in there that would make it a bit more difficult.
We have a comment. Timbo the Wizard says, "Oh, those earrings are cute. I know a certain mushroom lover who'd enjoy them," and we just absolutely be all about them. Do you have these for sale, or are these something that's like a one-time commission, or something you'd be willing to do again?
So let's see. So what I'm planning. So these first mushroom earrings, since those are my very first mushroom earrings ever, those are personally mine. Now this was before I learned in some traditions that whatever you bead that is your first time, you normally give it away to someone. You normally gift them away. I didn't know that. At the time of having these, of when I made these mushroom earrings. So these are personally mine, but I do have like extra colors that I have now in my little beading storage. So I'm definitely gonna make a lot more mushroom earrings soon.
Of course. Okay, perfect. And we will be linking Wawieli's store on Twitter. We'll be linking Instagram. We'll just be linking there. And
thank you.
always, we have to. Let's look at some of your art. I have here this bunny illustration, and it is so pretty. I love these. Tell me a little bit about your art. Like, are there any recurring elements that inspires those choices?
So, um, so this digital art piece in general, I drew these around Halloween time of last year, um, and this is when I decided to experiment more with my line work. You probably won't be able to see too much on the screen, but whenever you zoom in, there's extra line work. And at that time, when I was doing this line work, it reminded me more of like a children's like a children's book or a children's movie. Like when I did the trees and I was doing hatching lines, it actually reminded me of Winnie the Pooh. It reminded me of Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh. That is interesting.
Very specific. Very specific, but that's really just like the one thing that popped into my mind was Winnie the Pooh.
That's kind of, I mean, honestly, I kind of see it. It's got a certain whimsical thing to it. And
Yeah.
the hatching lines, I don't know if I'm using the right term there, but the hatching lines on like the moon and the clouds, and just like in the shadows of the ears,
Yes.
that's very Winnie the Pooh. I could see that. Also,
Yeah,
hello,
it,
Wanuin. Welcome in. Thank you for letting me know the issue has been remedied. So so tell me a little more about with the digital art. I mean, is there sort of like what's the inspiration overall between like what got you started in that in particular?
so in all honesty, I started art. I actually started art in general thanks to my cousin, who is Wani Win in the chat, by the way. And
Nice.
I yeah yeah really I don't really have really a big plan for digital art. It's just more of what I like to do. Um I don't really have big meaningful meanings at the moment. I'm kind of just drawing what I enjoy, which right now is more of the whimsical drawings, more bunny, very very fun and wholesome. Well, for the most part.
Yeah, wholesome is good. Wholesome is very important.
Yes.
Looking at this next one, it's I'm not sure what to describe it as. It's this beautiful like little mushroomy cloud person. Also, your Wanawin says it's all her baby. She's great at what she does, and she does places. Uh, you get him, Nay. Oh, goes places, goes places.
Thank you. Thank you,
So,
Ani.
so I love this next art piece that is up here. I love this this kind of like blue and gold thing that we've got going on. Can you tell us a little bit about this piece?
Yes. So this one's actually so last month, or not last month, February, on Instagram, an art prompt was a whole art prompt list was going on called Funguary, and I normally do not do well with art prompt lists, especially if it's like almost every day for a full month, which I tried doing that. It didn't go well. But I was able, I definitely was able to draw some mushrooms. So this one, the blue mushroom we got, or the blue fungi, this was like day one. This was literally day one, and it was celestial theme, and I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but I'll definitely like put it in chat for anyone who is like interested in the fungi type, but that's what it's called down there.
Let me see if I can take a whack at it. It's Mycena subcyanocephala.
You know what?
Maybe?
I think that's close enough.
I have no idea. Chat, have a look and attempt on your own time. If you manage to figure it out, if you manage to say it and it doesn't twist your tongue into 17 different shapes, let me know. Let me know. So, okay, so was this the first prompt that you had tried to do that you felt like kind of successful with?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. It was I definitely wanted to make it more not completely humanized, but have some human in it ish. More yeah, more humanized. I guess that's how I would describe it. And I just found it very cute. And the fact that it was celestial, it was very easy for me to like add little stars in there, add a little sparkle in it.
So was it kind of like you looked and you were like mushroom, but make it space?
Well, the actual like the week one's name was Celestial, so I had to have some Celestial into the character already, and then of course if you actually look up the fungi and see the images, you can kind of see where I kind of got it from, cause
Okay.
yeah, cause they do got the yellow fuzzies on there,
I
which
think
is
that is
really cute.
absolutely adorable. So okay, so I'm looking at this, and then I'm going back to your bunny illustration, going kind of back and forth. I can see how you have a particular art style for sure.
Yeah.
When it comes to like that particular like art style, like what, like you said, it reminded you of Winnie the Pooh, but was that sort of like, was there? How do I put this? Was there a particular art piece that you looked at and it just kind of like hit you sideways and you were just like, wow, I have to do that? Or was it something else?
Oh, that is actually a really good question. I just from the very beginning, I've always wanted to do a more cartoonish style. I remember in the beginning of my art journey, I tried to do anime because that's what my cousin was drawing a lot back then too, was anime. So I saw her doing it, I was like, oh, I want to try anime. I never succeeded in the anime style. I still haven't succeeded in the anime style to this day. Um but I also knew that I did not want to be uh I did not want to head towards the realism direction.
Yeah, well, was it just kind of just not your bag, or was there another reason?
No, I mean I can be okay at realism, but it's really not my cup of tea. And of course, during this time, I was watching a whole lot of cartoon shows, and that's probably what probably inspired me to be like, oh, cartoon. I like cartoon.
I feel that. I feel that. I think that if I was to start any sort of artistic journey myself, I would probably stick with sort of the illustrative style because
Yeah.
realism is fun, but oh my gosh, you get one thing wrong and all of a sudden like this lovely portrait you were trying to draw of your grandmother ends up looking like Mycena subcyanocephala. Like
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
so with let's go back to the beating real quick. Actually, I want to talk a little bit more about that. Regarding your beating.
Mhm.
Can we discuss sort of, just because I know that a lot of the people who are watching are not indigenous. Let's discuss a little bit like the significance of traditional beading in your artwork. Like tell us a little bit about the culture behind that.
Oh, well, to be honest, I'm still learning about my culture, I'm still learning um just about traditional beadwork just in general. Um but of course, I know that in the very beginning, we never started out with beads. We traded with the Europeans. And that's kind of how we got the beads to begin with. And then we used beads throughout time as a way to tell stories, to tell to speak like significant points in our lives. Um and I think we still kind of do that to this day, that we use beadwork as a way to tell what happened throughout history.
Are there any stories in particular that you want to tell with your beadwork?
Um, um, right now, I don't think I personally do not think my beadwork really tells a specific story minus just my own that and plus I'm still new to beating, so I don't really think um that I really don't have like a meaningful storytelling. And plus I'm still learning. So
I don't think that learning necessarily precludes you from being able to tell a story, though. I think that telling a story
Right.
comes from the heart, and I don't think that age or experience necessarily it takes that ability away from you, you know?
Right. Well,
But
in that case, in that case, I'm just a person that likes mushrooms and bunnies and wants to continue learning. I guess that's my story.
I mean, I like that. I like that. It's you like mushrooms and you like bunnies. Why do you like mushrooms and bunnies so much?
Okay, so um, bunnies, it's kind of funny because it started all during one day at community college back in I want to say 2022. I think it was September, and it just bunnies came up in my mind, and it hasn't left. It hasn't left since then.
That's perfectly a valid reason.
Yes.
And I can see how much it's like it's affected everything like regarding like your even just your VTuber PNG. It's absolutely gorgeous. Who drew that, by the way?
So Wani, Wani went in chat. She actually drew this model for me.
Ooh, you better plug it.
And then my boyfriend did the rigging for me.
That is so cool. It looks like it's incredibly difficult to do because I can see all the little pieces moving around, and I just feel like it's incredibly complicated. Like just the basic like 2D rigging. Do you think that's kind of complex?
I would definitely say it's complex, mainly because like I was scared to make my own model. Like I was thinking about like, huh, maybe I should make my own VTuber model. But then I would watch so many videos and looking at and just reading the process and seeing the process. I'm like, I'm too intimidated. Until a Wani when she's like, huh, I kind of want to try that. Hey, do you think I could try that for you?
That is adorable. That
Yeah.
must have been so exciting to like I remember I think I was present in the stream where you had the grand reveal of this new avatar, and
Yeah.
it was so exciting. Everybody was such a huge fan of it. I really like just how it's incorporated like the different like shelf mushrooms into
Mhm.
everything. That is so unique. I love it so much.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And one he just said it was an attempt. It was more than an attempt. You put a whole lot of hard work into this model.
I mean, credit where credit is due. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So, okay, so going back to the art, what would you say is your greatest challenge regarding just the learning process?
I think I think a lot of it is just keep drawing. And that I think that's what I would say. It's just to kind of keep drawing, keep learning. Cause if I stop drawing or if I'm kind of stay in my comfort zone, then I probably won't improve. I'll probably improve in some ways, but still lack in others. Um, but yeah, I think that's what I would say. Yeah.
Totally felt consistency is key. That is the biggest thing that I keep hearing whenever I ask people like how did you get so good and how did you learn all of this, and they were just like practice every single day forever, and I'm just like oh I can't even consistently go for mental health walks. This is beyond me. So like kudos to you for being able to be so consistent that you achieve this level of skill, because oh my goodness. And I see in the chat we have Wani saying Out of everyone I know, Nay is the epitome of hard work means something, and I do see that. I am
Aw.
so excited to see you where you go. Actually, so that's actually my next question. I mean, are there any upcoming projects or collaborations that are just super exciting? Like, what's next for Nay Nay?
Well, for now, my next steps is, well, I have a lot of vendor events I'm gonna be attending. Um, and then in the fall, I will be going to university to get my bachelor's in fine arts, and I am hoping maybe, I mean, I'm kind of crossing my fingers here. I want to, I kind of want to be a book illustrator, like a book cover illustrator. Whether that's for book covers, like for children or young adult, or actually doing picture books for kids. I'm not too sure yet. I'll really only know when I hit university and continue learning from there.
That is really really exciting. So right now it's going to be like just big university plans,
Yes.
learning, getting better, and then
Yes.
ultimately finding the kind of direction. What about like if there was just nothing standing in your way, absolutely nothing, and like you could choose any story that you've read or that you've seen to illustrate, do you have one just off the top of the head that you would go for?
To be honest, the first book that actually popped into my head is oh, except I can't remember the title of it. But basically it's is uh, when you give a mouse a cookie. It's
Oh,
that book series.
yeah, the whole like if you give a mouse a cookie, he'll want a glass of milk, that thing.
Yes, that one. That one. I mean,
Yeah.
that when you were asking that question, that was the first thing that came into my mind. It's like, oh, like that book.
I mean, it's a very good cautionary tale, honestly. Like I would
Mhm.
I would love to see that. I've seen it illustrated before in some ways, but I would love to see it illustrated in your style.
Aw, thank you.
So, how has kind of the response from your community been, like both online and in person? Like, how has that been to your art, and has it shaped it in any sort of way?
um, I think the main thing is just the support. I think that's what I would say. It's just the support and be like, oh my gosh, I love your art. Like even just or even like when I would do art streams and new people come and be like, your art looks so good, and that gives me the butterflies.
Has it had any sort of effect on the way that you approach your art?
um, well, it kind of gives me the boost to keep going.
Hmm. Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Can do you have any particular piece of art that just sort of like really stood out to you as a big challenge? Like just something that like it was hard to create but it taught you a whole lot in the process? Whether that's
Um,
digital art or beadwork.
let's see. Digital art is actually the Halloween bunny illustration that we have down below. I mean, this piece right here was kind of the start of the rest of my pieces. At least in the current art style of what I'm trying to, um, go forward with.
Hmm, so this is just sort of like where it all began type of thing? Like what did you
Yes.
learn? Like what did it teach you?
Well, let's see. It taught me to, let's see, definitely the hatching lines, which basically you're using lines parallel from each other as a form of shading. Um, and then definitely the disconnect. I call it the disconnected line art. So it's not all connected. It's not even really clean either. And that's only because our eyes will connect the line for us without without needing to be connected.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm learning something new every day. That is so cool. So it's just you don't have, so it could be little dots and dashes and our brains will just fill in the blanks.
Yes. I actually learned this. I actually learned this in community college. It was my art teacher that taught us this, that lines don't always have to connect. And you can also see an example behind my VTuber model up here. Same thing. You can see the dashes of lines. And your eyes will instantly like connect them without even I don't even need to connect the lines. Our eyes will do it for us.
I see that. Like now that I'm actually looking at it, I'm just like everything just kind of like it works. Is that just sort of the basis of the Hatchwork style? Because I think I've seen it before, but this is something I've never actually noticed.
Um, it was just something that I learned in community college, and especially in the digital age, everything has to look clean. Everything has to look like thin line art, thick line art. Like everything has to be connected, and I'm also trying to keep some traditional aspect into my digital art, which also includes the hatching lines too. Like you would normally see that in ink drawings.
Like so this is so what I'm seeing is basically you're taking the traditional form of ink drawing and you're just making it kind of digital. You're bringing that into the digital world, the digital space.
Yes, exactly.
I love that. And like with that, I suppose what I'm wondering now is like what advice would you give to young artists who are exploring both technology and traditional art forms? Like what would you tell them?
Experiment. Try new things. See what fits you. You do not have to follow all of the digital art rules, and you don't have to follow all the traditional art rules. It's good to learn them, but you can also break them and manipulate them however you like to. But it's good to learn first, and then make it your own way. Whoops, I touched my mic. And and also what Wani went in the chat too. Art has no limits. There is no right or wrong way of doing it. So experiment.
Yeah.
Do what you like.
Art is up to the individual, whatever you want to do, whoever you want to be, whatever style. I mean, the way I see it is just don't let anybody tell you one way to do things necessarily. But I love that your advice is to experiment. I mean, I just think it is something that needs to be said more. A lot of people I've seen a lot of people give advice like study the greats, study the classics, blah blah blah, and it's just all art is valid art. I don't think it has to look like, Leonardo da Vinci to be proper, to be considered wonderful.
Yeah. Now of course, if you're wanting to learn from the great artists, then definitely study their art. But it's more of a question of what do you want in art? Like, what do you want to draw? And if there's a certain style that you like out there, or a certain artist that you really love so much, then study their art style and see what they do. But also give yourself that freedom to do what you want to do too.
I absolutely love that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the floor while we just kind of talk about a couple other things. If anybody in the audience has a question for Wawieli, now is the time, because we have about 5 minutes left of our interview space before we'll take an intermission. So if anybody has any questions, now is your time. But in the meantime, while we wait on any questions that may need to be asked, what's coming up in your future? Like what do we see from you in the next couple of months? I know you said that you're going back to school, and that in going back to school you're going to be looking at illustrating books, but in the meantime, in the space between now and when the semester starts, what have you got going on?
Let's see. So, definitely vendor events. See, yeah,
Yeah, we did mention that. I remember.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like with
'Cause,
your
like,
own personal art, do you have any pieces that you're working on?
let's see. So, because I have been busy in my personal life, so really, I'm trying to get back into drawing a lot again, also beading a lot again. Um, so that area is gonna be it's gonna be a little slow just because of how busy I am right now. I also got some commissions to do too. So personal art wise and personal beadwork wise, I'm hoping soon I'll start working on that. And it's gonna be like emotes. I'm actually working on some drawing myself some bunny emotes based off of my bunny Sarabi.
Is that what the I didn't realize that it had the name. I thought for some reason we were just going with Wawieli for everything. So the bunny's name is actually Sarabi.
So my VTuber, my character's name is actually Ophelia.
Oh.
Yeah, that's her name, Ophelia.
Huh.
But no, Sarabi is my actual pet bunny.
Oh, okay. Call me silly.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you're
So
good. You're good.
we do have one question from Wani. Who's your favorite artist now or in history?
I like too many artists. Hold on,
Narrow
but
it
I
down
do
to like one or two.
okay. Let's see. I know there is one in mind, but I cannot remember her name at the moment. I gotta search for it. But she
Take your time.
does, yeah, but she does a lot of illustrative work. Oh, okay. One of them is definitely Sketches of Shay. She, uh, oh, I love her illustrations so much,
Yeah?
and just how she renders it. Here, let's see. She also has a YouTube channel as well, which I think is
Sketches
also
of
Sketches of Shay.
Shay.
Yeah.
The sketches of, is it SHAE or EY or how's that go?
AY.
AY. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there, and I'm gonna pin it for a couple minutes. There we go. Or if one of my mods could please pin it for me. We have another question from TikTok, actually. This user asks, with your PNG tuber, do you find that it moves pretty well with what you're trying to do?
Um, yeah, I would think so. I would think so. That was an interesting question. I didn't.
Yeah, it was one I didn't see coming either.
Oh yeah, I was seeing that coming. But yeah, I say it moves well. Especially since this is Bonnie Wen's very first model. I say it moves very well.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, we are at the close of our interview. I want to thank you so much for being our first ever guest. This is so exciting. This has been incredibly rewarding. I thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything that you would like to tell our audience before we conclude?
Well, first I want to say thank you for hosting and inviting me here. This was fun.
Of course.
And yeah, just thank you. I think that's all I kind of have to say right now. It's just like just thank you for listening, and thank you for hanging out.
Of course. I hope to have you back on the show sometime soon. I definitely want to we're definitely going to follow your journey. I think this is super, super awesome. But now we're going to go ahead and head off to a break. So let's go ahead and say bye to our audience, and we'll be back in 15 minutes with Peter Franqui. Bye.
Bye.
Imagine there could be a way we could leave this place without a trace and fly away. Imagine there could be a way nothing can make us stay and endure the strain for another day. Forget who they are, forget what they say. This is the time and day. No one's gonna hold us down, no one's gonna make us stay. Yeah, we will fly away. We'll fly away. We'll fly away, we'll fly away, we'll fly away, we'll fly away. We'll fly away, we'll fly away, we'll fly away. Forget who they are, forget what they say. This is the time and day. No one's gonna hold us down, no one's gonna make us stay. Yeah, we will fly away.
Welcome back. We are here. We are ready to go. Welcome back to Smoke Talk. We are just about ready for our second guest, Peter Franqui. Let's give a little round of silent applause again to Wawieli. Absolutely wonderful to have them on. Now, let's talk about Peter a little bit before we go ahead and bring him on. Peter is the world champion of Digimon the card game, which I did not know until fairly recently, that it was even a thing. Like, I thought that it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I think it's going to be really interesting to be able to talk to him. Now, we are going to attempt to do this the traditional, like, we're talking through collab cam way. If this doesn't work, I will be calling him on Discord. He cannot escape me. So without further ado, let's see if this works. Okay, can you hear me?
Hello.
It works. What luck we have struck in this moment. Huzzah. Now I'm trying to figure out what else is giving us sounds. We're just getting a little bit of a background sound, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so hello.
How's it going?
Pretty well. Go ahead and introduce yourself first. I already introduced you, but let's hear it from your mouth.
So, how's it going, guys? Name's Peter Franqui. Spelled weird, but we'll go into that later.
You're gonna have to speak up just a little bit for me.
My apologies. Is this any better?
I believe so. We'll have to see what the crowd says. But I think it should be okay. I think you're coming in a little bit quiet.
Oh, interesting. I might be a
You
little
can hear.
messy.
Okay, you are heard. You are all
Nice. Let's go.
Huzzah! So, so introductions again.
So yes, name's Peter. If some of your friends are watching, some people may know I've known you for quite a while. From New York. Recently, went on my escapades into Japan. Awesome trip, by the way. Took me, I think, about a week and a half to get over that jet lag. That was great.
Very nice. We're gonna go ahead and move over to here real quick because I would like to show everybody just sort of a little bit about what went on here, starting with this lovely. Just show. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Mm.
The underdog Pete with security control win. There's the handshake. Congratulations, Peter Franqui,
thanks.
your
That's me.
2023 Digimon World Champion.
That's me.
Swagger me.
Unaware of what exactly I just did. But...
Taking the world stage in Japan.
Oh, hey, the guy in the left is power.
Yes, baby. That was like that feeling must be the chase that we chase. You know, that the underdog
He's
story.
like,
that is everything that always makes me so happy. Yeah, come on.
Little salute. I cannot. Amazing. So we'll just have this rolling footage happening here. Let's take us through the moment that you stepped up to compete. Let's take us through the moment you stepped up to compete in the Digimon, the card game World Championship Finals in Japan.
Oh,
what was going through your mind at that time?
We
got a follow. Thanks, Neutral Nick.
First and foremost, it was super crazy, super surreal. I think I was high on the ride going through, especially right here, because this is me see. Is the clip where I'm? Ah, yeah. So one of those clips is like the semifinals, I believe. Uh, I couldn't even believe I made it there, first and foremost, because prior to this, we were playing. This happened around 6 hour time EST. We were playing for like 4 hours before this, and it was like a whole different. We call it Swiss. If anybody in the audience plays Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, they'll know some of the terminology. Swiss is where you do two out of three matches, or in their case, it was you best of one instead, where it's just a one win, one loss. And then at the end of it, the person with the best record is at the top, and then they go from that down, going from best record to worst. I was very lucky because I actually lost to his name is Frozen. He went by in that original thing, and that's why they call me the underdog because I ended up coming in third place after those original rounds. I snuck my way into the semifinals, and then I climbed back up, and I got my rematch with him. And as you can see, I had to get my salty run back, and I won that game.
Of course, you had to come back and you had to take it for the win. So, at what point during this match with Frozen did you realize that victory was just like within your grasp? Like, was there a specific play or a moment that turned the tide in your favor?
Mm. As a matter of fact, it was if you do go and watch the stream, a lot of people in the chat even mentioned it. So something he does in the card game community, whether it's intentional or not, I know he thinks a lot. He was taking very long on his turns. Some people call it slow playing. Some people call it malicious or intentional delays. And once he started doing that, and I saw he couldn't kill me, that was kind of an, it kind of flicked a switch in my head where I said, "Oh, okay, I have this," because the way time rules work with the game, whoever has the most life at the end of it, they're declared the winner. So as I made him run out of cards in his deck, he lost my deck out. We went into the third game out of the best of three. And once we're in that, everything's in my realm. All I have to do is play one card, and I essentially win because my deck recovers life. His deck does not.
That is absolutely fascinating. Like it seems I tried to learn a little bit about the game prior to this interview. I sat there and I watched the match. I watched the match. I did. It seems like it takes a lifetime to master something like that. I mean, it's crazy. Like how has your approach to the card game evolved over the years? Like how did you like what got you started and what got you continuing to do it?
Started. Um, the game has actually not been out too long. I believe this is the third year, or at least we're going into the fourth year, third or fourth. It's more like a reboot of their old game. Uh, Digimon has been my preferred IP or anime, whatever people decide to call it, over Pokemon, mostly because there were more mature or adult themes in it, such as the fighting was more advanced, I suppose, than Pokemon was, and that caught my eye more than anything else. So when they rebooted the game, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I want to get into it." Unfortunately, it actually came out over COVID, or COVID affected it, and so I couldn't get into it on the very beginning. But then my friend walked into my house one day with a big box of all the cards. He's like, "Yo, I got these cards. Let's play." And then that's that.
That's that. You took one whack at it and you were like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." You just kind of
Yeah,
went with it.
I started playing and it was very fun. It's not too difficult to get into. It's more interactive than most of the other games, in my opinion. And yeah, it being able to interact with your not so much the opponent as much. How do I word this? In Yu-Gi-Oh, it's unfun because the game evolved into something you can't really play because your opponent can stop everything you do, and then you just sit there floating like, oh well, this sucks. Magic, a lot of that also in the competitive scene gets in a similar manner. At least in Digimon, there's no aspects that stop you from doing your gameplay. It's strictly, can I outsmart you? Can I outplay you? Can I work my way around what you do? And I like the back and forth aspect of that.
It's all about. It's not about. It's not about like what you're capable of deck wise as much as it is your understanding of the mechanics of the game.
Yes, it's
Okay.
pretty much each player trying to bigger brain the other person.
So, could you share any strategies or insights to your gameplay that might have been crucial to the way that you won to your big win, especially in the championship?
Mm. So I mentioned the big outbrain the other player, but then some of your other card game enthusiasts and enjoyers in your chat might hate me for this. I'm a control player. My job is to make sure you can't play the game the way you want to. Whenever somebody attacks into me, there's a chance uh, there's a chance you get punished for it and you lose your monsters or your things on board. So I don't get people don't play the same way I do. My the goal of someone's already caught on.
Yeah, that
Someone
would be
already knows.
Dom in the chat saying card games do be crazy. This guy, this fucking guy. And Wawieli says, this is so cool. Congrats on the win.
Thank you, by the way. I think in Magic it'd be equivalent to me playing blue, and then I just instead of
Thanks for the
countering all your
follow.
stuff, it's just if you attack me, the way that works is the card flips over in my life, and if there's an effect, it happens. If not, you just put it in discard pile. My deck says you attack into my life, and there's an 80% chance the card you hit is going to blow up your entire board, and you just have to hold that.
That
Normally,
has to be so frustrating to play
it's
against.
it's infuriating for a lot of people. It's even infuriating against for me sometimes 'cause when I have to play against the same exact deck. Oh, it's terrible. But that's a story for another time. Ideally, people want to try to give the least amount of resource you can to the opponent. Oh, so the bar in the middle that you see right there in the video recap, that's called the memory. When the memory goes over to the other side, like let's say I'm left, my opponent's right. When it goes into their side, it becomes their turn. Normally, you want to give them as little as possible so they can't play as many cards or make as many plays. That would be the normal case. My deck does not care. I'll give you the max amount and let you do whatever you want. I'm still going to heal, and you're probably going to swing into a trap card that's going to say go away.
I think I made the mistake of watching some of the commentary that was going down on the sidelines of this stream. People do not seem to be a fan of control decks at all. It seemed to me like they were just sitting there ready to just rail you right into the next dimension, just completely shoot you down. But I mean, the way I see it, you took home the victory for a reason. If you are a worthy component, people need to learn how to play against control decks. I mean, it's the world championship at that point. At that point, it's a skill issue.
100%. Going over it, it was more like people rooted for me because the way the other dude was playing was certainly unfavorable. But oh god, was it bittersweet for everybody because people hate my deck, but they love me. But they hate my deck, but they love me.
Yeah, these I was listening to the way that the showrunners they were talking, the hosts, and they were just like, oh, he's so cool. Gosh, he's so cool the entire time. It's kind of funny to watch.
Yeah, those guys are very cool. I got to meet the Yoshi Sudarso, that's the Power Ranging guy I mentioned. I got to meet him when I was in nationals over in California. So that was really cool. And even he said, "Yo, I hate your deck, but the way you played is so cool." And then the other guy, I don't know if he still plays, which is kind of surprising to even see him pop up there as a commentator. Uh, but what was his name? Steve, he's also cool. I've met him once or twice in Florida. So they're both very cool individuals.
It seems
I
like
love it.
it. Dom says, Domino RBG says, nobody likes not being able to play their strats. It's always rough overcoming a control deck, but you gotta.
See, I like Dom. He has a brain. I
Yes.
like
So, I mean, okay, so describe this moment, the moment, that the feeling of just clinching the world title. I mean, what was your initial reaction when you knew you had won?
Oh, I got hyped originally when we got into the third round. They announced, all right, you guys have 5 turns because we're essentially what they considered sudden death. Once I knew I had to win, I was hyped in the moment. And then I guess once I actually won, something in me kind of froze up a little, not froze up, but clicked. And it didn't occur to me how big this was, I think, until the day after I got back. Because as you probably see, while I'm just slumped in the seat, I'm like, oh God, it's over finally. Thank God. Because it was stressful. And as you can see, I have the turtleneck on because I wanted to look my had to look my best.
Of course, of
And
course.
it was kind of uncomfortable with how warm it was in that box. It doesn't look like it, but we were actually playing in one big box.
Oh, yeah, they made it look so big. I didn't realize it was such a small stage.
Oh yeah. It's kind of impressive how well they are with the cameras. But once I won, it was really cool. It was very surreal. I got on stage. I was kind of still. I was in the moment for what it was, but it really didn't hit me until after. I was like, oh, I got this trophy.
So it was just like you did it, you held the trophy, you went on stage, you accepted the title, you went back to the hotel, passed out because you were so eepy, and you woke
Oh
up in the
yes,
morning and you were just like, oh, I am a different man. It's
yes,
me. I
yes.
I
Even
am the
further than that.
champion.
So on the way back to the hotel, it was kind of wild because I was getting how do I word this? I kept getting pulled over by everybody. Oh, hey, can we get a picture with you? I had people trying to take pictures of me with their kids. People wanted me to sign their cards, and of course, I was like, yeah, sure. It was in like pseudo autopilot mode. Just yeah, sure. Here you go. Sign your card. There you go. Everybody took pictures with me, selfies. I got stopped at my hotel for doing another round of that. I didn't. The wake up and the realization didn't hit me until I got back in my house after a 13-hour flight in a chair because it was
Huh.
economy. They didn't give me nice flights, and I'm still upset at that. But I can't
You
complain.
had to fly back from Japan in economy?
Well, I upgraded to economy plus, at least.
I would have. I would have. I recently had to fly just like halfway across the country, and that was it. And I did economy, and there was not a moment that I was not in pain, like, or
It's
in some
miserable.
sort of level of discomfort. I cannot imagine. What was that like? You said 13-hour flight?
13-hour flight.
Incredible.
No, it was 13 going. It was 12 coming back. I guess just because you're going against the Earth's rotation, but
Oh, one whole hour
it
difference.
was
Amazing.
yeah, 1 whole hour of 1 hour less of me sitting in the chair, just oh.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. But now that you have achieved this super significant milestone, like, what are your next goals regarding this card game, other games? Like, what's next for you?
Mm. I do intend on trying to make a secondary appearance. When I can make a break you. Thank you, Dom. He knows. Um, I am gonna try to go for a second invite to Japan to Worlds. Mostly because it set in that when I came back, I got my little break from the card game. I kind of uh, avoided bigger events. I went to my little local tournaments, my little local shops, showed faces like, "Hey, everybody, what's up?" More card signing, more selfies.
Yeah, like what kind of responses have you received from fans and fellow players following this victory?
uh, it's kind of it's kind of funny. A lot of people, okay, I won't say a lot. There is a group of people who still are like side eyeing me because everybody hates my deck with such a passion, they're still like, oh, we still can't believe this guy won with his deck. But for the most part, everybody has been awesome. I've been in a bunch of podcasts with really great people. I've had a bunch of interviews with also awesome people. Um, my shop has my main shop, the one I actually used to go to when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And I kind of grew up in that shop. Actually has my picture on the wall now of both my second place at Nationals and then my first place at Worlds.
That's gotta be such a warm feeling.
It is kind of cool because uh, in a place that the dude who runs the shop effectively saw me grow up in that card game community, and now I've got my picture on the wall as a champion. So that has a nice little fuzzy feeling inside. But as it stands with the future of Digimon, I'm probably gonna wait for the summer to start really coming out and playing competitively at the bigger scale again. Right now, I'm just kind of coasting and keeping tabs on my personal life, the usual stuff.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, especially now that people have a better idea of what's in your deck. Are you planning on kind of recrafting it for the next competition season, or is it just sort of like, you know what I'm about, fight me, defeat me, or not?
A little column A, column B. So what even still to this day, it has slowed down a little bit, but I do still get a lot of messages because people are actually using my exact list since that was publicized. And I also didn't mind giving it directly to people because I do believe in giving, not so much giving back to the community, but being available to everyone, right? Because there are a lot of people who want to get better at the game. And I pride myself on being somebody that has no problem helping them. And a lot of people who are using that deck, that also means I can't use that anymore because now everybody's going to try to play against it. So I'm caught between using my pride and joy and moving on to the next and kind of putting that deck in this deck box into a vault.
Did you start off being a security control player, or is that something you kind
Yes,
of leaned into?
I 100%. It's actually a running joke in my friend group. Since I started playing this game, we are about 15, 16 sets into it, or at the time of Worlds, we were 15 sets in. From set one, 3 years ago, to that day, I've always played that. It's called security control, and it fixes itself up with every set. And I've just played that same deck throughout the whole way. It's a running meme because people, it's like kind of like a Bruce Lee thing. I practice the same punch 1,000 times, and it's the only thing I know how to do. But it got me here, so
So if it's the only thing you know how to do, I mean, are you just going to do a different form of Secon for the next big competition? Or is this something that, like, you have to learn the way the other methods play in order to, like, kind of keep going?
I think I'm dabbling in both because I love the control playstyle. I'm always gonna have that on the side as my little fun deck, or if I feel like making people upset during an event. That's one of my favorite things to do is to make people's lives miserable in the game. I might be evil,
Jeez.
I might be toxic, but yeah, I'm working on both a control style and working on what might have to be the kind of decks I have to play if I want to progress in the game now.
Hmm.
If that means
So,
I have to be a little mid range, then I'll be mid range. But
I see. Okay. So your goal here is to kind of refine your current strategy, but also kind of learn a little, like, become the enemy kind of thing. Like, what do you like? What do you think your chances are for the next time this competition comes around?
oof, I think rather know. I know I can get an invite into the next nationals. That won't be the hard part. The hard part will probably be adapting into trying to get myself into worlds next time. Um, Mostly because the we have a preview of how the game is evolving. Maybe there's a chance that I won't be able to do the same antics as I did before. Uh, that will be up to Lady Luck.
Of course.
But at the very least, I know I can get into this year's upcoming nationals.
Okay, okay. I guess I would have thought that like being a prior world champion would secure you the invite up front.
Yeah, me too.
But it's just you have to kind of crawl up from the bottom instead of defending a title.
Pretty much. Now naturally everybody knows who I am. So whenever I'm playing against somebody in these small tournaments, they're like, "Oh crap, I gotta play against this guy."
Of course.
And then naturally when uh, let's say like a judge or a Bandai representative sees me in their events, they know me as well because I did get to network a little bit while I was out there, and that was cool.
That does sound kind of cool. I mean, did you
Oh
meet
yeah.
anybody super like significant you want to talk about?
Let's see. I can't remember their names because I didn't really get their full names, but they were actually like head members of the Bandai company themselves, or at least the
Ooh.
division for the card game aspect. Some of them even asked me and a couple of the other world's uh, competitive people, because there were 15 of us, and they got to ask us our ideas, our suggestions, what we might like, what we might want to see in the game, things we might want to think may make it better. So that was also pretty cool. It's like talking to one of the people at the people who make Magic, and then tell them, "Hey, listen, this could be a good idea for your next set, or this kind of rule could be implemented." So that
Okay,
was the
well,
coolest part.
so suppose Bandai Games like approached you out of nowhere, just suppose, suppose they came and were like, "Hey, we actually want to make a card that's it's based on you, your play style and everything." Like
That'd be so cool.
if you could just make one up off the rip, like what would it look like? What would the evolutions be? Just tell me a little bit. Go ham, go into your imagination.
So in Digimon, you have three types of cards. You have the Digimon themselves, the Tamers, which are kind of like planeswalkers, I guess, but they don't attack, unlike Magic. And then you have like the options, which are kind of like spells. I would have liked a Tamer, and I would have liked it to have something to do with altering life. Like, oh, if a card is added to your life, you get to tap it to draw a card, or maybe something in that manner. Or even like, no, well, certainly not a line. It had to be a Tamer. My favorite.
Yep, we
my
gotta
favorite
know Bro's
Digimon.
favorite Digimon. Tell us the
My favorite Digimon has to be it's his name is Loosmon. And Digimon takes a lot of mythology and incorporates a lot of that stuff. Loosmon, as it might sound to some people, it's based off Lucifer. And even his line kind of starts off as a small angel, radiant, he's beautiful, and then he evolves into some handsome archangel, archdevil thing, and it's probably one of the coolest concepts they have.
Huh. That sounds really interesting. Do you have any of those cards like on hand to show?
As a matter of fact, I probably do.
Why don't you show us some of your favorites? Actually, there was one thing that I noticed. It was the when you were in your final when you were in the finals and you were facing off with Frozen. I remember exactly you put down your first card and instantly the commentators were just like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't expect that because I forget that Peter is built different."
Oh
Tell
yes,
me about that card.
That was Magna Angemon, as its name is. That goes hand in hand with what I said before about trying to give them as little resources possible to do their turn. And instead of giving him like, oh, maybe one or two, so he has to pass turn when he plays the card. No, I gave him a whole 7 out of 10 to let him go up his entire line. And I said, all right, cool, come at me, bro. Let's do this.
So that was just the big move first to show him what you're about.
Saying, that was me telling him, yeah, I know where I have you, and I know I have this.
I think it worked. He looked a little rattled. He seemed to be taking a lot of time in between turns. Like you seemed like instantly you were on it. You knew what you were gonna do, and then he seemed to need time to think about it. What was that about?
He uh he overthinks a lot of things. That's what I gathered from that. And excuse me, I'm also kind of like looking for the card on my side. But he took a long time to make some of his turns, and a lot of people were kind of hoping he would get flagged as a loss for that, because if you take too long in doing these, you could actually get penalized for that, because now it's like, oh,
Really?
you're intentionally trying to run the clock down for whatever reason. So that's why in the comments, if you've noticed, a lot of people were calling him like a cheater. He wasn't cheating, but he certainly was taking too long to do something.
I did notice it was a bit strange. I'm also gonna put some music in the background because I'm missing that music now. You good with that?
Oh, by all means, because when I tell you I was jamming until I got the okay to join.
Of course. Let me just adjust a couple of things, and we should be.
Let's see here. So I have.
But while I'm
here we
adjusting
go.
that, tell us a little bit about some of these cards you've got going on.
Some of these cards. Which ones? The ones I just pulled out?
Yeah.
So, like I said, the Lusman is a yellow card. As you can see, like he starts off as like some little angel. Nothing special. I would have loved to play him, but he didn't have a place in my deck. He would, just like all the other yellow cards, he also recovers. But then, like I mentioned, he turns into this big purple handsome devil of an angel. And like I said, I love that whole aspect because making links like that, I'm edgy. I love those things. I love the whole angels and demons things.
So, how do you balance like kind of the like? I know that when the competition runs back up, it's going to be a bit interesting, a bit new. Tell me a little bit about like how you're going to be able to to balance the demands, because competitive play, I know it takes a lot, and you got other stuff going on. How are you going to balance that with your personal life and those commitments?
Ooh. So I am lucky that I'm able to manage my time with my job and playing my games, my little side hobbies. Uh, most my most of my escapades go on either on the weekends or maybe like in the evenings if I have such days. I usually I'm back from work at around what 1, 2 in the afternoon, and then I get to entertain going out someplace maybe, or if I'm stuck home, I'm able to play with people over Discord over webcam because I could just move my table and I could set up everything, and that's actually how I did a lot of my practice. I played over webcam with some of my friends, or I go to one of my friends' house and we just have like a little get together. And there were a couple of nights where I broke night because if there is anything in trading cards that I took seriously, it certainly was that. Once I found that I got the invite.
That sounds incredibly difficult. It sounds incredibly tough. So, with that, then, what what are your feelings on just like? So with that, what are your feelings of like on? Like it sounds so difficult to balance. So with that, like what's gonna happen if like say the demands just triple? Like what if you have to have like a bunch of appearances, interviews, things like that? Like how are you gonna be able to balance that?
Balancing, uh, about something or to meet up, whether it's like a podcast similar to this, I make it extremely known to everybody. If we're going to do anything, it has to be on a time where I'm free, because my personal life comes first, my work comes first. Especially in my line of work, I have to make sure that comes first. So I try to make everything aligned to times when I am free.
I see.
If not, I try to force some free time because even I know I overdo a lot of my antics. I have to take a step back before I drive myself nuts. Are there any Digimon cards?
I get that. I think I get that. So there's a question from chat. Wawieli asks, were there any Digimon cards that were banned that would have been cool to use at the tournament, if there are any card bans?
That's actually a very funny topic too. So there are a couple of banned cards. So when Worlds happened, that was the start of a brand new ban list because that's rewinding back a bit. Set 15 is what we started with going into Worlds. It had just dropped. And Japan and over in the overseas form of the game, they had it a couple of months before us. That set had a deck that essentially is a deck out deck. It forces you to discard cards off the top of your deck until you run out of zero, and it forces you to lose. And that ran so rampant in Japan. There were people boycotting and actually sending Bandai insane amounts of hate mail to get that removed from the game.
Really?
When Worlds came, that was the first day of the ban list where that deck was immediately wiped off the map. So everything was fresh and brand new. So there would have been a couple cool cards I could play. Like, you don't get to see it in the video. There's one card that lets me look at two cards off the top of my deck, and I heal one into my life, and I add the other to my hand. That card's put to 1, but I would have loved to have that at 4.
It sounds like I can see
It's unfair.
why it was banned.
It's unfair because that card also lets you send it to the discard pile to gain memory as a resource, so you get to continue your turn. It's very not fair to have that card at 4. I understand why it's put to 1. But there aren't any real banned cards, for my deck at least, that I would have liked to play.
Okay. I think I understand. I understand where you're coming from. So, what if somebody wanted to get into it for the first time? What would you recommend they start at?
Let's see. Well, luckily there are starter decks that are built pretty well. You can actually just buy you could buy one and just go play, and you'll be able to really get the aspect and the feel for the game. If you want to be a perfectionist, you buy 2 copies of the deck. Now you have 4 copies of the cards. That might make a real difference. But it's very easy to get into. You could either pick up a green deck that's a green structure deck that recently came out that plays out itself. Very easy. Red has a very straightforward deck. As most Magic players will know, Red's famous for just being straight up aggressive. I'm gonna swing at you and do stuff to damage you. There's Greymon and Agumon as the characters are, the Digimon are. Their deck is as straightforward as you can get. It's very easy. I raise my guy, I raise my monster, put him into play, and I swing at you. And that's that.
That sounds intense. It sounds like a lot to learn. Do you recommend like starting off at your local shop, or do you think that it's better to kind of find like a forum online to learn that way?
You're that's funny you mentioned that, Dom. So it's probably better off you start at your local shop because not only are you going to have interaction with some of the players, people might be able to help you a little easier. They'll be able to show you stuff like maybe some combos in the card game itself. Because there is an online simulator, there is stuff online you could look up and watch. If you want to play and start off playing, you could go right into your local shop, start from there. You could also look up some videos on YouTube because there are a couple of streamers who actually record games just to show gameplay of certain decks. So you could actually look up what a Greymon deck does and show some gameplay of it. Uh, if they're a good streamer, they'll explain what's going on as it's happening. But your probably best bet is to go to your local shop, to be honest.
I like that. I like that a lot. So we've got about 5 minutes left of our interview.
Sure.
We'll take more questions if there are any. If not, though, like while we're waiting on any other questions to come through, what would you want to tell kind of anybody watching or anybody who's going to watch the replay when it goes on YouTube? Tell us what's your message you want.
So similar to a little speech I gave up at Worlds, because they had asked me a similar question: "What's your message to the people?" If you do get into this game, more like most other card games, there's like, "Oh, this is the one deck you have to play if you want to win," stuff like that. And Digimon, it's a little less restrictive. You can play what you want. Don't be afraid to enjoy yourself while you're doing it. And the less you stress out, the better. So it's a very welcoming game, very easy to pick up. And yeah, that's by all means. It's as simple as asking, "Hey, does this work?" and being told, "Yeah, that can work."
Okay, cool. Dom asks, what was the first the card game TCG that you picked up, and what are others you enjoy playing?
Yu-Gi-Oh! First game I picked up was Yu-Gi-Oh!
What do you enjoy about it?
I used to enjoy that there was an aspect of strategy in Yu-Gi-Oh! A long time ago. Not so much now. I don't have fun with it anymore. It's not my Yu-Gi-Oh! But I have dabbled and I have dabbled in Magic. I even recently picked up the Fallout decks for Magic because it's Fallout, it's Magic, it's a card game. I have to try it. I've also dabbled in Final Fantasy's card game. It's unfortunate that's not as widespread and wide known. And I used to dabble in Pokemon. It's not for me. Let's see, what else have I played? The Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, I played One Piece. One Piece is cool, but as I started playing One Piece, I realized it started to become just a second Yu-Gi-Oh! There's more thought process involved in it, but I'm not too much of a fan of how it can become unfun very quickly.
I did not know that One Piece had a card game. I don't even know how that would go.
Funny enough, One Piece, their card game came out, I think, the year after Digimon did, and it felt like they used Digimon as a test ground for when they made it, because it feels like a twist of Magic and Digimon combined. Because instead of lands, you have a separate deck that comes out as your energy, your resource, and you have to spend X resource for your stuff. Oh yeah, there is a Dragon Ball card game. That is very correct.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so all of Bandai's IPs actually. They have Dragon Ball. Just recently got a brand new reboot as well. I haven't tried it yet, but I do have one of their decks lying around in my my business area. So it's Dragon Ball One Piece. They recently made something called Union Arena. I'm not going to go into that because that's supposed to be like a big medley of a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see. Yeah, those are all the card games I've played actually.
That's pretty cool. I have played Magic the Gathering exactly one time, and that was that was with Dom, and I really enjoyed it. I definitely want to get back into it and try a little more. What's your advice to me, honestly? What's your advice to me, knowing me as a person? What would you recommend I do to get better?
To get better at Magic or at card games?
Magic and card games. Also, Disney got a card game too. It's insane in these streets, says Domino.
So first to answer you, don't think too much. That's as best as I can do it. Uh, read what your card does. Don't overthink it. 90% of the time, what's on the paper is what's gonna happen. And that's about it, really. Just have fun.
Just have
Don't.
fun.
Yeah, have fun. If something looks cool or something pertains to how your play style or how you have fun, then by all means, go with that flow, embrace that, and the more you delve into that play style, the more you're like, oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. And going off of what Dom said, yes, Lorcana is what it's called. And I have dabbled in that as well, but I've kind of brushed it out my head because it's I don't know how it is over by them, over by
Right.
you, but I know over by me, it's scarce and overinflated. So I don't touch that.
Okay. Well, we are out of time, so I'll give you the opportunity to say goodbye to our viewers, and then we will escort you from the premises.
Well, gentlemen, thank you guys for having me. Thank you, Sage, of course, as well. It's always a pleasure. By all means, if anybody ever has any questions about if they want to get into the game, my lines are always open to everybody who has questions.
Yes, and we will also be, as on top of posting Wawieli's shops on our media, we will also be posting Pete's shop so that we can go ahead and support. And we'll also probably post the stream to that particular match if anybody wants to watch him use the most hated deck to win the world championship. Thank you so much for being here. You have been a wonderful guest. I am so very, very happy that you showed up. Thank you so much. And thank you again. I said thank you like 4 times, but we look forward to seeing how you do the next round through. And you have a
I'll be sure to
wonderful
keep you
night.
posted.
Perfect. All right, and say bye.
Ciao.
Now it's just me. Congratulations to both of our people. You've been super appreciated. Absolutely loved this first round. I am so happy that you all came. I can't thank you enough, honestly. This was wonderful. And we are going to do this every single week. Next week, please tune in, same time. First interview, 7 to 7:45. Second interview, 8 to 8:45. And next week, we are going to have Noel Peterson, famed actor, who is going to be seeking a furthering education outside of the U.S. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And as well as a Werewolf BF, affectionately known as Wubs, who is a game creator. We'll be discussing some of their games that they have built. We're going to be discussing some of the motivations. This is going to be so exciting. Again, every single week, we're going to have new opportunities. Now, if you would like to be on Smoke Talk, please, by all means, go ahead and follow us on Twitch. Follow me on Instagram. There will be more opportunities. We'll start booking again sometime in May. But right now we are full up all the way through May 30th, which is so exciting. Phase Moo has redeemed stretch. I'm going to stretch because my goodness, this was a lot. But yeah, if you want to be on the show, just go ahead and apply. The email will be out soon. Again, thank you so much. My name is Sage, and this has been Smoke Talk. See you next week.
Got it through my eye. Got what he